When my elder brother started saying someone was living inside our walls, everyone thought he had lost his mind, including me. The strange part? 20 years later, I realized he was the only sane person in the house. Or so I thought. Our family lived in an old ancestral house, just four of us: father, mother, my elder brother Anik, and me. Anik was brilliant, quiet, the kind of student teachers loved, always at the top of his class, never caused trouble, never got into fights, never gave anyone a reason to worry. Which is why what happened next frightened all of us. It started one summer. At first, the change was subtle, easy to ignore. He began staying awake at night, not reading, not studying, just listening. Sometimes I would wake up at 2 or 3 in the morning and find him standing in the hallway, completely still, staring at a wall, as if he was waiting for something. Other times, he'd press his ear against the plaster and remain there for minutes, not moving, not blinking, just listening. Then one night, he came into my room. His face looked pale. His eyes were exhausted, almost frightened. And he whispered, "Did you hear that?" I listened. Nothing. The house was silent. I told him I couldn't hear anything, but he didn't seem convinced. He glanced toward the wall behind my bed and quietly left. The next night, he asked again, then again, then again. Weeks passed, and slowly, his explanation became more disturbing. According to Anik, someone was living inside the walls, watching us, moving between rooms, listening to conversations, waiting. Father became furious. Mother cried almost every night. Doctors were consulted. Psychiatrists were consulted. Everyone reached the same conclusion: paranoia, delusion, early schizophrenia. But here's what always bothered me. Anik never acted dangerous, never screamed, never attacked anyone, never became violent. He only warned us, again and again. They come out at night. They stand beside your bed. They watch us sleep. The certainty in his voice was terrifying, not because he sounded insane, because he sounded absolutely convinced. Eventually, my parents made the decision. Anik was admitted to a psychiatric institution. I still remember the day they took him away, the ambulance outside, the neighbors watching through their windows, my mother crying, my father refusing to look up. And Anik grabbed my wrist so hard it hurt. His eyes filled with tears, real tears, the kind you never forget. And then he whispered, "Don't trust them." I asked him, "Don't trust who?" His answer was barely audible. "Our parents." A moment later, the ambulance doors closed, and he was gone. 20 years passed. Anik never came back. Father died, mother died, And eventually, the old house became mine. For years, I avoided thinking about him. Until one night, while repairing part of the attic floor, I discovered something hidden beneath loose floorboards. Old journals, dozens of them, dust-covered, forgotten. Every one of them belonged to Anik. I spent the entire night reading. Every page described the same thing: voices, movements, people inside the walls, conversations overheard late at night, strange observations, strange fears. And the more I read, the more uncomfortable I became. Because the details never changed, not once. Year after year, the story remained exactly the same. For the first time in my life, I started wondering if everyone had been wrong. Maybe Anik wasn't mad. Maybe he had discovered something none of us understood. Then I found the final notebook, the last thing he wrote before being institutionalized. I opened it and froze. The same sentence filled page after page, repeated hundreds of times, over and over and over. Not my real family. Not my real family. Not my real family. My hands started shaking. For the first time, I wondered if our parents had done something terrible. Maybe they had manipulated everyone. Maybe they had hidden something. Maybe Anik had been silenced. Maybe something slipped from between the pages. A folded document. A medical report. From this, expected to see Anik's name. Instead, I saw mine. Arjun, age 12. I frowned. For a moment, I genuinely thought there had been some mistake. Maybe the papers had been mixed up. Maybe this belonged to someone else. Then I kept reading. Diagnosis: acute psychotic delusion, identity dissociation, memory reconstruction syndrome. I stared at the page, trying to make sense of it, trying to understand what I was looking at. None of it felt real. Then I turned the page, and everything changed. According to the report, there was no brother, no older brother, no Anik. There had never been a brother. Anik didn't exist. I remember reading that sentence again, and again, and again, as if repeating it enough times would somehow make it mean something different. But it didn't. It stayed exactly the same. Anik didn't exist. My hands started shaking. I looked back at the journals, really looked at them. The handwriting, the spelling, the way certain letters curved at the end. And then I felt my stomach drop. A cold feeling. The kind that starts somewhere deep inside your chest, because I recognized it. Every page, every notebook, every word. It wasn't Anik's handwriting. It was mine. Mine. The journals, the notes, the warnings, every single one of them. Mine. According to the doctors, Anik had never been real. He was created during therapy, a personality, someone I could blame, someone who could carry memories I couldn't accept, a safer version of me. Because when I was 12, I was the one insisting strangers lived inside the walls. I was the patient, not Anik. I was the one institutionalized, not Anik. The brother I had spent 20 years mourning, the brother I had missed, the brother I had blamed my parents for abandoning, never existed at all. And then something surfaced, a memory, one I hadn't thought about in years. The day Anik was taken away, the crying, the screaming, the ambulance. For 20 years, I remembered standing in the doorway, watching my brother disappear. I could see it perfectly, every detail. Or at least, I thought I could. Because suddenly, the memory changed. The doorway vanished. I wasn't standing outside. I was inside the ambulance. I was the one being restrained. I was the one screaming. I was the one begging people to believe me. And the voice saying, "Don't trust them," wasn't Anik's. It was mine. Mine.